What do you expect that to look like?
Listen, Dak Prescott could be facing the best defense he sees all year in the Jets. As much as we lauded the Cowboys and how they played against the New York Football Giants, he's going to be facing probably the biggest test that he sees all year in this Jets defense. The thing about this Jets defense, Green, is they don't have to blitz to get pressure on you. They can literally, with their front four, get after the quarterback and drop 7 in the coverage. Dan would tell you as a quarterback, it is very difficult to pass when you got 7 people dropped in the coverage. And the one thing that this Jets defense does is they make you have to be methodical in you going down the field. They make you have to be patient. Can Dak Prescott be methodical against this Jets defense?
And here's what we know about the Jets defense. I asked C.J. Mosley this yesterday, knowing that Zach is now your quarterback. On defense, in that meeting room, are you guys looking around saying, okay, we got to eat more? He said, no, the mentality hasn't changed, but we know they go out looking to hunt. Like, this is that front is so ferocious, led by Quinnen Williams. We saw, Robert Saleh's whole mantra, all gas, no brakes. Like, they might beat the brakes off of Dak. Like, they just might. And that's what they hope, because Zach Wilson, he's not scoring 40 points.
No.
You need the defense to show up. Yes,
there was a moment in Hard Knocks that so many of us remarked upon, where the Jets defensive coaches are saying to their defense, we're going to win all these games this year because now that guy's our quarterback, right? Because that defense was so good last year, it deserved to be carried off the field in its collective shield at the end of 17 games because they hung in there so well. It is impossible. I keep going back to that moment. Those guys, the defensive side of the ball was so excited to have that guy. What did you hear from those guys yesterday?
I mean, here's the thing. They're saying what they have to say, right?
Yeah.
But it's not, they're not lying. They understand. I think they recognize this is a very difficult position to be in for their quarterback. So defensively, they already felt, regardless of who's at quarterback, that we can win any game that we step onto the field. The problem is that the Jets defense got no rest last year. You know what I mean? They just got no rest. And now you thought walking into any stadium, we got 8. We can be our best, and the offense can be its best.
It could end or derail your career. So if you have an opportunity to get out of bounds, if you have an opportunity to slide, you have to do that.
All right, but go ahead.
So but listen to how you just said that. Someone in that building has to have the courage to sit Josh Allen down. That, to me, signals that there's a problem in Buffalo. If that has to be said out loud. After years of us.
That guy now is the head coach of the New York Giants.
That's it.
That's the problem.
That's
part of it. Brian Daboll not being here. Why are we so high on the Giants' trajectory? Because of Brian Daboll. That's a big missing piece in Buffalo. But talking about what Josh Allen needs to do better isn't a knock on Josh Allen. We love Josh Allen. We love the player. We love how he plays. We just want him to be smarter. But he keeps saying the same things year after year, and so do the coaches.
I wouldn't say year after year.
Yeah.
I mean, at the back half of last year, yes, there was this over-aggression with the football and trying to be the most competitive person on the field. Here's my pushback to all this. We can't the touchdown pass that he has to Stephon Diggs. That doesn't happen unless Josh is making those plays. This is why I say it's a difficult conversation, Kimberly, because the last thing you want to do is for that young man to take his stinger away. The last thing you want to do is to get him to play cautious. The last thing you want him to do is think, oh, my goodness, I can't play to the style that has made me the $250 million quarterback. But they need to get him to the point where almost like this play doesn't happen if you're trying to make him into something that he isn't.
Every time you're on the sideline, they're telling him, Stephon Diggs, be smarter.
Well, that's because I think
I
think it's in that game.
No,
game.
It has been years of that.
Here's the thing. Let me get D-Wood in here. Here's the bottom line of it is, it's no one's trying to tell him, first and foremost, you're correct. He's a brilliant player. He's a magnificent player, and 29 teams in the NFL would kill to have him as their quarterback. That's a given. But the next step in the development for a guy who's in his 6th year in the NFL is to get rid of some of that, right? If you can just not be cautious, but not be reckless. You said it.
Right.
You want to be aggressive, but not reckless. He was flat out reckless.
I agree.
You and I were sitting there the other night. He handed the Jets that game.
He did. I mean, listen, the Jets, I don't know. I always say styles make fights sometimes. And when you talk about this Jets defense, think about it. Over the past couple of years, the Jets defense has had Josh Allen's number.
No, I get it.
I don't know what it is, but I will say this about Josh Allen. When I watch Josh Allen, it's like watching Brett Favre.
Yes, that's the comparison.
It's like watching Brett Favre.
And every freaking Bill fan would take that.
Listen, I'm not a hater of Josh Allen. I'll be harsh and say that some of the stuff that Josh Allen do is just like, bro, come on. Like, don't be throwing Hail Marys that you in double coverage.
I agree.
And stuff like that. Or we talk about the way he, put his body in harmony. You have too many people that are relying on you.
But
I agree.
All I need is for Josh Allen. Can we just take a little bit of that away, please?
I've said this. I remember when Gary Kubiak, I threw a pick one time. Gary Kubiak pulled me over and he said, you got to get to a point where you understand you don't hold your job in your hands with the ball, you hold everybody's. And Josh certainly displayed some of that last year and some of that on Monday night. The Bills are not winning the Super Bowl if Josh Allen doesn't play to the style that he does.
But why?
Of the time.
Here's what I find interesting. Buffalo has constructed the foundation of their offense where it is over-reliant on Josh. It is you are Superman, be Superman at times.
I disagree with that. The people around him or the play calling at times?
Here's what I'm going to say.
He's got plenty of help.
Here's what I'm going to say.
Ken Dorsey plays a part in this.
I agree.
Here's what I'm going to say, Greeny. I'm going to say
go.
this. Who's holding Josh Allen accountable?
That's why the conversation has to happen.
Who's holding?
And who's going to have it?
I keep going back. Brian Dable, he did it. Who's doing it on the staff now?
But deeply touched and humbled by the support and the love. Please keep me in your thoughts and prayers as I begin the healing process today. The night is darkest before the dawn, and I shall rise yet again. Proud of my guys, 1-0. So the long-term prognosis, it appears, is that Aaron Rodgers plans to come back. I think I speak on behalf of every Jet fan and every football fan everywhere, where we wish Aaron Rodgers a speedy recovery. There's nothing everyone in the world wants to see more than Rodgers back on the field. But that's going to be a ways into the future. The Jets have to deal in their present and the immediate future. Kmart is our MVP. Yesterday, she hosted Get Up, she hosted First Take, then she ran out to Florham Park, New Jersey, and covered the Jets. What did you hear? What did you observe as they try and pick up the pieces and get ready for a tough game in Dallas?
What I loved about yesterday was that it was a normal Wednesday. It was not a funeral. Guys were not depressed. Yes, two things can be true. They are devastated that Aaron Rodgers is injured and no longer their quarterback, but guys are excited for this opportunity for Zach Wilson. He's a kid that he went through a lot last year, emotionally being benched, but everybody says this kid seems to have his mojo back. He seems like he's got a swagger, and you saw in that Monday night game that guys, Alan Lazard, Tyler Conklin, Garrett Wilson were pumping him up on the sideline, and there was more of that in the locker room as far as them talking about their confidence in Zach stepping into this opportunity. The mission, Dalvin Cook said, has not changed. Yes, he came here to play with Aaron Rodgers, but he said, you know what, we're going to rock out with Zach on Sunday.
You know, I have spent, and this perhaps should surprise no one, some time studying the 5 stages of grief. And the first of them,
Which stage are you at?
The first of them is denial. And I think that in part because this was a Monday night game and they have to get ready so quickly, maybe this is to their benefit psychologically.
Yes,
but I don't think I have fully processed what happened. That sounds ridiculous, but I think it is actually true. And I'm not sure they have fully processed what's about to happen. Everything that their season was supposed to be based upon has now changed. And the ball goes over to Zach Wilson. You're a leader on that team, Damian Woody, as you once were. What are you saying? What are you getting up in that locker room and saying to everybody?
Nothing. The mission is the same. Like players, we don't get caught up in all that type of stuff. We literally, as players, we literally think, man, we can win. With this team, with this Jets team, with this great defense, the personnel they have on offense, obviously Zach Wilson and his swagger and his confidence coming back, they absolutely believe they can go out there and win these games, and regardless of who the opponent is. It's just going to be about going out there and playing complimentary football like they played against the Buffalo Bills. Yeah. If they can do that, Greeny, this team can be a postseason type of team.
I'm going to speak from a wide receiver standpoint, right? When you see plays like Garrett Wilson, when the ball's not perfectly thrown to you in the end zone on a goal line fade and you still make a miraculous catch, those are the type of things that you have to do. right? If Zach Wilson puts that football anywhere near you, make the awesome play, make that confidence in Zach Wilson continue to be through the roof. And also, I think I'm going to look at Nathaniel Hackett as the offensive coordinator, right? We know what Breece Hall is. He was a guy that had a great year last year when he started off before he got hurt. In that first game, he was the only player in the National Football League with 2 explosive runs of 20-plus yards or more. So lean on Breece Hall a little bit. I love what Dan said. You got to lean on that tight end room, right? You have 3 phenomenal ones.
Right.
So put them on the football field. Let those guys at the point, especially against Dallas.
Yeah.
You run that football at Michael Parsons.
CJ Uzomah, Tyler Conklin, and Jeremy Ruckert. But let me. I've been waiting all week to get you in here, because the Jets, they need a veteran backup quarterback. I think they're going to activate Tim Boyle, and we'll see what happens. There was a time not so long ago when that person might have been you. And one of the things you would have been brought in there to do was not just to be ready in case Zach gets hurt, but to talk to him, to go through situations with him, to try and do with him the things that Aaron Rodgers theoretically would be doing with him. What would you be saying? Take us into that. What would you be telling him to do right now?
Yeah, first of all, Aaron Rodgers is still the most important person in the building, and I'm hoping that he does that. This is what I would tell Zach Wilson. Cool doesn't win in the NFL. We don't need you to be the cool kid on the team. What we need you to do is, now it's time to step forward and show, okay, I am ready to be a leader. I am ready to do the right thing with the football on a consistent basis, and I'm ready to be the quarterback. I'm not here to be the savior. I'm not here to be the hero. I'm not here to be the second overall pick. It starts with this. Number 1, Zach, you don't have to go win games. I don't care how athletic you are. I don't care the runaround plays. You do not have to go win games. Our defense can win us football games. Zach, every single play you have to know, what can I not do to make sure we don't lose the football game? Is that forcing the ball into coverage? Is that holding on to the football? Is that trying to move a defender when it's not necessary? There are times and places. And if I were Todd Downing, they're really their quarterback coach, then Nathaniel Hackett, I would make every single play very black and white for Zach Wilson.
Explain what that means.
Okay, so really in the football terms, we have a first wide vision, first narrow vision. Zach, when you get to the line of scrimmage and you understand, we get to the line of scrimmage, your first wide vision has to be, are we set in our formation? What's the defense? Your first narrow vision has to be the will linebacker. Whatever he does, I do the opposite. And then make it very clear. And then it comes to this, Zach, if you be very quick with your mind and understand, first narrow vision, if the corner bails, I'm throwing the hitch. If the will linebacker steps up, I'm throwing the in. If the safety rotates to the top, I'm throwing a check down. If you think like that, he'll play quickly. The second thing is it's 1-2 run, 1-2 run, 1-2 run. And we're running to get out of bad, not to go create good. There's a difference.
Meaning him run, like just bail out and go.
Throw the ball away.
Yeah.
Throw the ball. Here's the reality, Greeny. Zach Wilson needs to be 3 points better this year
than last year.
3 points. They averaged 17 points under Zach Wilson as their quarterback. This defense is not going to give up more than 20 points a game. Zach, can you be 3 points better? That's how you do it. If you do that, this team's absolutely a playoff football team, and they can win this weekend.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.